I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network, the twice impeached, disgraced former president who took the country on the precipice of overthrowing our democracy, who led an insurrection against our country to overthrow a free and fair election. Well, he thought it would be a good idea to announce he was running for president again in 2024. He did this at Mar-A-Lago just days after the midterm election, where the entire MAGA extremist, weird, dangerous movement was completely repudiated by American voters. But nonetheless, for Trump, it's all about me, 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 me. And this was just a humiliating event. It took place in a room in Mar-A-Lago, a very small room. I mean, it literally looked like a funeral was taking place there. There was absolutely no energy in the room. In fact, the people who were there tried to leave before the speech was even done, and security refused to let them exit, and people were just trying to get the hell out of there. Like, what in the world is going on? Like, and there was no real members of Congress. There were no governors there. There was really no GOP mega donors there. It was all just the weirdest of the weird, and even they wanted to get the heck out of there. Here, let me just show you this clip of them trying to leave this event.
Help is on the way. Joe Biden has abolished America's borders. We are going to restore and secure America's borders just like we had them before, best ever. We built the wall, and now we will add to it. Now we built the wall. We completely.
You know, this event was just completely humiliating and embarrassing. It was just the ranting and ravings of a lunatic. Like, this is an event where Trump was announcing he was running for president again, but here's what he talked about. He talked about Mars and how his big agenda would be to put the American flag in Mars, and he claims it was something he was already doing when he was president. Here, play this clip.
Human knowledge and extend the horizons of human achievement. And we will plant our beautiful American flag very soon on the surface of Mars, which I got started.
And then in the same speech, Trump said, why didn't the FBI raid Bush? Why didn't the FBI raid Clinton? They should raid Clinton and Bush. Here, play this clip.
Including the raid of a very beautiful house that sits right here. The raid of Mar-A-Lago, think of it. And I say, why didn't you raid Bush's place? Why didn't you raid Clinton? 32,000 emails. Why didn't you raid Clinton's place? Why didn't you do Obama, who took a lot of things with him?
I mean, you have to think for a second. This is his speech to announce that he's running for president in 2024, and it's just ranting and ravings about why the FBI didn't go after Clinton and why they didn't go after Bush. Well, it's because Clinton and Bush didn't steal government records. They didn't steal top secret, sensitive, compartmented information and hide them in the weird resort in Florida that they live in like you do. They didn't break the law incessantly the way you do. They didn't lead an insurrection against the United States government like you do. They don't cut deals with the Saudi Arabian regime for family members like you do. They don't sell out America the way you do. They don't cuddle up to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un the way that you do. And then look, this is Trump. He literally says this. He goes, I'm a victim. I'm the victim. Here, play this clip.
Thank you. And I'm a victim, I will tell you. I'm a victim. Think of it.
And then, of course, Trump has to spread these absurd conspiracies. And again, you forget. So this is your announcement to run for presidency. Here, play this clip of Trump saying this ridiculous conspiracy that China interfered with the 2020 elections, and that's why he lost. Play this clip.
Many people think that because of this, China played a very active role in the 2020 election. Just saying. Sure, that didn't happen.
I mean, just an utterly absurd conspiracy that he's spreading at this event where he's announcing he's running for president. What? Oh, and then this is where he goes, in the same breath, China interfered with the 2020 election, he says, and spreads that stupid conspiracy. And then at the same time, he goes, I call President Xi the king. I call the president of China. He's my king. Play this clip.
And I was with President Xi, who's now president for life. I call him king. He said, no, I'm not the king. I said, yes, you are the king. You're president for life. It's the same thing.
How embarrassing can you be? You have Donald Trump saying he calls President Xi king. Like, are you kidding me? Oh, and here was a real delusional moment where he said before COVID took place, which he calls xenophobic names, before COVID took place, that he united everyone. He united the whole country. Even people on the left were supporting him. The most delusional, weirdest, most dangerous person. Here, play this clip.
And we love both sides. We're going to bring people together. We're going to unify people. And it was happening in the previous administration, previous to the previous. And what was bringing them together was success. Prior to COVID coming in, the people were calling me, that were calling me. You wouldn't believe it. People that were so far left, I figured they'd never speak to me and I would never speak to them. But our success was so incredible, like never before. And then COVID started coming in from China. We call it the China virus. Some people call it other things.
And then he always just rails against America, how bad America is. That's one of the things he always does. He didn't have the QAnon music here. Normally in those weird fascist cosplay rallies that he holds across the country in front of these really tiny crowds where he tries to make them look big by not showing the actual audience that's there, and it's just like a small group of people around him. He plays the QAnon music at those events. He didn't play the QAnon music here, but he basically gave the exact same speech where he just talks about how horrible America is. Here, play the clip.
Much criticism is being placed on the fact that the Republican Party should have done better, and frankly, much of this blame is correct. But the citizens of our country have not yet realized the full extent and gravity of the pain our nation is going through, and the total effect of the suffering is just starting to take hold. They don't quite feel it yet, but they will very soon. I have no doubt that by 2024, it will sadly be much worse, and they will see much more clearly what happened and what is happening to our country, and the voting will be much different. 2024.
And then one of the most hilarious parts of it, too, was that Fox cut away from it. Like, Fox had enough of it, and they were like, look, we're not playing this anymore. Here, let me show you the moment that Fox is like, all right, we're done. Play this clip.
Remember I sent to Angela. Remember Angela? Do you remember Angela? Nobody's remembering her now. Angela Merkel.
If you're just joining us, President Trump in Mar-A-Lago announcing his 2024 presidential run.
You know, I'm going to do another video on the reaction by many Republicans about Trump running, but I want to show this one here. I'll show it in the other video as well. This is the cover of the New York Post, owned by Rupert Murdoch. And if you look at it, it has a big cover story that is unrelated to Trump's announcement. And then on the very bottom, it says, Florida man makes announcement, referring to Donald Trump. Florida man makes an announcement. And then when you actually go into what the article says, this is where it just is so, it's so interesting. And let me pull up the article for you. The article says, with just 720 days to go before the next election, a Florida retiree made the surprise announcement Tuesday night that he was running for president. In a move no political pundit saw coming, avid golfer Donald J. Trump kicked things off at Mar-A-Lago, his resort and classified documents library. Trump, famous for gold-plated lobbies and for firing people on reality television, will be 78 in 2024. If elected, Trump would tie Joe Biden as the oldest president to take office. His cholesterol levels are unknown, but his favorite food is a charred steak with ketchup. He has stated that his qualifications for office include being a stable genius. Trump also served as the 45th president. That was in Murdoch's New York Post. I mean, everybody's laughing at Donald Trump. Complete humiliation. But look, there is a level of we can't blind our eyes and close our ears to the reality. We need to let people know what's going on. We can't just report this as just both sides issue or with bemusement. It needs to be shown. It needs to be pointed out the dangerous conspiracies that he spread, and it needs to be condemned, and it needs to be done very early and methodically, just as we do here on the MeidasTouch Network. So that was the recap. Somewhere in there, he announced that he was running, but a completely humiliating announcement for Trump. The MAGA extremist movement is just a complete and utter disgrace, and has fortunately been significantly marginalized by the repudiation in the midterms. But we need to stay vigilant. We can't take our democracy for granted ever again, and we'll keep providing you updates here on the MeidasTouch Network. I'm Ben Meiselas. Until next time, hey, hit the subscribe button right now. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your support. Please hit the subscribe button. Also, consider becoming a patron of the MeidasTouch Network by going to patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. There's subscription memberships there. You can join and you can access the exclusive content you can only see on Patreon. But most important, other than the great exclusive content that you'll love, we're not funded by any outside investors at all. So none of the millionaires and billionaires who fund the both sides media and the pro-fascist media. We are only accountable to you, and we are fueled by democracy. So if you can, wherever you are in the world, you can take part in helping grow this independent media platform together. No worries if you can't, but if you can, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.